Let's go talk about the stress nexus issue that we had chatted about earlier, and we'll go to questions pretty soon. But tell us about this idea that you and some of your colleagues have been thinking about with food, water, energy kind of converging into a set of overlapping problems in the future.
So the simple concept here, very complicated to do anything about it, but the simple concept is the way we described with energy, with global population growing the way it is, energy demand growing the way it will grow. That creates stress, not only finding enough energy, and there's debate over whether or not there will even be enough energy to double what we supply today. But then can you do that in a way that the environmental stresses don't get so challenging that they have to put a stop to the program? So that's just the energy line alone is very challenging. And then you look at the fundamentals behind what's driving that energy challenge, and it's exactly the same for food, and it's exactly the same for water. Growing population, huge demand increases, certain parts of the world that don't have things that they need. And then when you just take one step deeper into it, what you find is food, water, and energy are inextricably linked. And because it takes energy to make food, it takes water to make food, it takes energy to clean water and move water and desalinate water in parts of the world, and you can go on and on and on. And we find that you can't actually separate these two. And while we've been treating these stresses and these plans and talked about energy mix and the change into the future in sort of this singular fashion of how do we reduce CO2 and so forth, what we find is it's not that easy. I mean, you could go to a country and you could reduce CO2 emissions from transport fuels by 90% by going to a biofuel solution. But if you're in a country where you have to irrigate to produce the plant life that creates the biofuels, that's not going to lead you to a solution that you like. And so what we're finding is we actually have to work all of these elements concurrently.
Do you feel that your industry needs to speak up more to drive that conversation, particularly when it comes to things like biofuels, to remind people that some of this stuff is not as environmentally benign as it might be marketed as?
So that's exactly what this is about. So I think not only do we have a responsibility to, but this is an opportunity. Again, I'll turn it to the inside of the company. This is an opportunity to lead in this space and to be very vocal in this space. So let's talk about biofuels, for example. We have entered into the biofuel space, and what we're doing is we've started about a $12 billion, this is a big investment, about a $12 billion joint venture in Brazil, producing about 2 billion liters of biofuel a year from sugarcane. And the reason why we looked all over the world and why we decided to go to Brazil and why we decided to start there and then add technology to see, can we get to even further advances in biofuels, is because it doesn't take land that would be otherwise needed for food, and because it uses rainwater, not irrigation, to produce.
But they're not clearing rainforests to grow the sugarcane, are they?
No. Not at all. So this is all existing land. And actually, we wouldn't have entered the business if this meant clearing the rainforest, right, or moving into the Amazon. It's exactly the kind of consideration that we have to have going into it. But it goes all the way back to where does it get its water, and is there sufficient water there in a natural sense to do that?